Talks podcast. My co-host Bradley Powers, and we got a special guest, Shan Gilms, that's had an experience recently that she would like to tell everybody about. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, hello there. Thank you for presenting the show with me, Jim, and thank you for guest Shan Gilms. Shan Gilms, are you an alien contactee, an alien abductee?
Yes. Yes. My exciting news. I mean, a lot of people on the site know I've been dealing with ET technology, and that I witnessed a huge black draconian being. And for a few years, I've had these things in my body, and it's been hell. They hurt me, they move around on me, and it sounds impossible, but I'm not going to be afraid to tell the truth because I think people need to know about this.
And I'm sure you're not the only one that experiences these type of.
Yeah, I'm hearing that there's other people suffering, and I've talked to a few people on the site. You guys probably know them that have either heard about this or is experiencing this, and people are afraid to speak out. Jim did a session with me yesterday, and it was strange, crazy tones, not like any I've ever heard, which he says comes straight from the Zeta Reticuli.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, Zeta. Yep.
And they were moving all around my body, and it was a 20-minute session. So I got up and I was like in shock after 20 minutes of this, because obviously it affected him. And then another friend that is Cassidy's sister, Christy, told me that she is a Lyran, like a Lyran queen, and in her other, however that works, parallel life. And I have never truly believed all that. When she was done and she had me tell them that a certain being was watching them and that she would go after him. Well, I videoed millions and millions of them leaving my body, and I shared the video. I'm in shock. I'm smiling. I'm telling everyone that this is real. I would have never believed this in my lifetime until it happened to me.
Okay, Shan. Shan,
yeah.
I'm gonna share that video you're talking about. You want to show that now?
Sure.
All right.
They're the little black things that are on the lower part and corner of that. Gosh, maybe I should have enlarged it.
Well, we can see the darkness of them.
It's actually an energy field that they travel in. And there's millions of little black things that are like alien technology, and they inhabited my body for a few years now. I fight them every night when I go in my room. Annabelle Quinones also, I videoed my roof, my ceiling, because I can always see movement. And I sent him the video, and there's a portal in my room. I've also heard this described from other people. So there is a bad faction of aliens. I don't know if they're from inner Earth or out there. Supposedly draconians were here before we were, and I've heard that they want Earth back. Now I'm going to say something really shocking, and I hope people hear me on the site. The fake moon that many are filming, that's obviously not the moon is what that black draconian came out of. And I see their energy. I see it outside, I see it inside, and I think they're spreading that. And so if your vibrations are really low, which mine were, they do different things. And me, it took years, but they entered my body. And I have so much proof.
Could you describe for the viewers what that draconian looked like?
He was about 10 to 12 feet tall. His face protruded out because he turned sideways like this and looked both ways. He was completely black with humongous black wings. He stepped up in that fake moonlight, looked both ways, spread his wings, and jetted so fast, like a UFO. I mean, fast. And I've been seeing them way up in the sky, and they look like huge black birds. They circled over my house twice. They make strange sounds, not like any bird I've ever heard. They have this thing with always making sure that I know that they're around. And it's been a few years of this.
Now, when we were playing that video, I could hear some sounds in the background. Are those the sounds that you're talking about?
No, that was the TV, and that video is in slow motion.
Oh, okay.
I had to slow it down so you can see the black things move around.
I got you.
It's been rough. I can still feel them in my body because they actually hear your thoughts and they nudge me, or it feels like something's stabbing me.
Now, are they? Do you still feel them present, or have they?
I do.
Yeah.
I feel them down around my feet and the bottom of my legs.
So now you're claiming that it's not as intense as it was, right?
Yep, it's not as intense. I'll even post the videos that I took, including the one Annabelle diagnosed, and you can see the energy and them moving all over the place. They were on my ceiling. They all headed. It looks like waves when you're looking in there. It looks like you see these waves, and they were all headed towards that window. And that's what I videoed. And I have a couple of other videos, including the one Animal tested. And I'll post them. Guys, I was telling Jim, thank you, because that session is amazing. And if anybody's having these problems, you guys need to reach out and get help. And these guys are amazing. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you for that, Shane. Yeah, that's right. We help people. That's what we do. We help people.
Yeah,
yeah,
and
carry on, Shane.
the word,
Shane, we're listening.
yes, it affected my whole life with my family. My daughter, one of my daughters has experiences too, and she's, thank God, been by my side. You know, we go outside and film UFOs every night. We did last night. I'll be posting those. It's been insane. It's been really hard. It's affected me with my family. This stuff is really, it's true. It's real. And I also sent a video on TikTok. I can't remember the guy's name. It might be the one you said, Phil Schneider.
No, that was Bill Cooper.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now I'm going to bring that video up too if I can, but do you want to show the previous one in color?
Yes. Yeah. And it's the black things moving around, guys. Yeah. There were millions of them. and they were all in my body. They go right through my skin like you don't have a body, and you actually feel them all over you. There they are.
That's incredible.
It's horrifying. It's been so hard. I go to bed and they keep me up for nights. I think a thought, and if they don't like it, they hurt me, and it feels like something stabbing you on the inside of your body. They don't like us. They don't like us at all.
All right, this is the one with Bill Cooper, the TikTok one.
Yeah, yeah.
I have to say, Your Omnipotent Highness. You should know that the alien flag is known as the trilateral insignia. It looks like a TP with two circles on either side of the V and one pole running straight down the middle. It is displayed on their craft and worn on their chest on their uniforms. Both of these landings in the second meeting were filmed, and the film exists today. Where it exists, I do not know, but I do know that it exists. The treaty stated, the aliens would not interfere in our affairs and we would not interfere in theirs. We were particularly interested that they do not interfere with anything that would affect our future, which has been violated. We would keep their presence on Earth a secret. They would furnish us with advanced technology and would help us in our technological development. They would not make any treaty with any other Earth nation. They could abduct humans on a limited and periodic basis for the purpose of medical examination and monitoring of our development, with the stipulation that the humans would not be harmed, would be returned to their point of abduction, that the humans would have no memory of the event, and that the alien nation would furnish MJ-12 with a list of all human contacts and abductees on a regularly scheduled basis. And this is not being done. It was agreed that each nation would receive the ambassador of the other for as long as the treaty remained in force. It was further agreed that the alien nation and the United States would exchange 16 personnel each to the other with the purpose of learning each of the other. The alien guests would remain on Earth and the human guests would travel to the alien point of origin for a specified period of time, then return, at which point a reverse exchange would be made. I have no knowledge whatsoever of what happened to those original 16 humans who left the Earth with the aliens. It was also agreed that bases would be constructed underground for the use of the alien nation and that two bases would be constructed for the joint use of the alien nation and the United States government. The base at Dulce is one, the base at S4 in the area known as Area 51 or Dreamland is the second. Exchange of technology would take place in the jointly occupied bases. These alien bases would be constructed under Indian reservations in the four corners of Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona, and one would be constructed in Nevada in the area known as S4, located approximately 7 miles south of the western border of Area 51, otherwise known as Dreamland. All alien areas are under complete control of the Naval Department, and all personnel who work in these complexes receive their checks from the Navy. Construction of the bases began immediately, but progress was slow until large amounts of money were made available in 1957, and in the meantime, work continued on the Yellow Book, with the information derived from the guests. I would like to say at this time that the movie that most of you may have seen, how many of you saw Close Encounters of the Third Kind? That movie was absolutely true. Those events did take place, not exactly as you saw them, not in the place where you saw them take place, but there was a landing, there was an agreement, there was conversation, there was an exchange of personnel made. I would like to say now also that J. Allen Hynek was the technical director on that movie, and he was also the co-author of Grudge 13, which I read between the years 1970 and 1973, along with another man named Lieutenant Colonel Friend. As you learned last night, it's the real nice guys that get you. Right, Bill? Project Red Light was formed, and experimentation and test flying alien craft was begun in earnest. As I told you earlier, many of the craft we recovered were intact, appeared to have no damage whatsoever. One craft actually exploded over the test site during testing sometime in the early 60s. I'm not sure what the exact date is, but the explosion is said to have been seen over 3 states. Project Red Light, according to the information that I have, was postponed at that time because they had no idea what had happened or why the craft had exploded, but they lost the pilots, and the project went on hold. A super top secret facility was built at Groom Lake in Nevada in the midst of the weapons test range. It was codenamed Dreamland. Until this area was built, testing was done at the Tonopah test range, and that's why some of you have conflicting information. The installation was placed under the Department of the Navy, and clearance of all personnel required a Q clearance as well as executive, which means presidential or majestic approval. This is ironic due to the fact that the President of the United States does not have clearance to visit the site. Many of you did not know that. The President of the United States cannot enter Area 51. There are very many other areas which he cannot enter also. The alien base and exchange of technology actually took place in an area known as S4. Area S4 was codenamed the dark side of the moon. The Army was tasked to form a super secret organization to furnish security for all alien task projects. This organization became the National Reconnaissance Organization based at Fort Carson, Colorado. The specific teams trained to secure the projects were called Delta. A second project, codenamed Snowbird, was promulgated to explain away any sightings of the red light craft as being Air Force experiments. The Snowbird craft were manufactured using conventional technology and were flown for the press on several occasions, and those of you who are my age or older will remember, as children or young adults, going to the movie and seeing in the movie-tone newsreel the Avro car and other strange-looking saucer craft that were developed by the United States and the Canadian Armed Forces as a part of Project Snowbird. Project Snowbird was also used to debunk legitimate public sightings of alien craft, also called UFOs. Project Snowbird was very successful, and reports from the public declined steadily until recent years. But not just due to Project Snowbird. There was an intense ridicule, denial, and debunking campaign going on since the beginning. People stopped reporting what they saw. A multi-million-dollar secret fund was organized and kept by the military office of the White House. This fund was used to build over 75 deep underground facilities. Presidents who asked were told the fund was used to build deep underground shelters for the president in case of war. Only a few were built for the president. Millions.
Yeah, so I think it's important that people get it through their head and accept they're real. So we're at the point where people don't tell you you're insane and you're crazy and stuff, especially since I've shared lots of UFO videos, orbs, and seen 3 different creatures or types.
Donnie Randall says aliens exist, and a Facebook user is asking, what happens prior to seeing them? Do you see them first? Do you feel your eyes shift? Do you think they have put an implant in you?
What happened is I was very naive, and I lived out in the country, and I started going out in the field, and they would actually, this huge ship with that moon circle that's not the moon would lower. During that time, I had lots of missing time. I had 2 severe bloody noses and owls hooting out my window. And I would see them move in my house. But the thing is, I was all hung-go. Wow, amazing! You know, this is incredible. And I took video after video. I was naive. I thought they were good. I'm not saying all ETs are bad, because I know they're not. It's logical that they're like us. There's good and bad in every race. These guys showed me, I think they were holograms. I've shared this years ago. A huge angel in front of me came down, and then like it kept going in the ground. That time my knees almost gave out and I cried for months. They are smart. They're very intelligent, and they mess with my mind in the worst way. I thought they were good for a couple of years, and then it started turning bad. My story is so crazy. When I first was aware of them, I was getting pictures in my head, and there were triangles everywhere. They are that advanced. I know what I saw couldn't have been for everybody else because the size of the ship. Oh, during that time, Annabelle, I sent him a video. This is years ago. And he said, Shanna, there is a miles long ship over you. And I told him calmly, I know. Yay, cool. I've been under their ship many times. The point being, I thought they were good, and they trick you. They showed me all kinds of little ships, different colors.
Well, you've probably been on this ship many times and have no recollection.
I think that's true. I think it's true, and I do think I have an implant.
And we have another question here. Do they talk to you telepathically?
And
if so, how often would you say?
They've been always with me for years. And what they do is if I think something they don't like, they hurt me. They keep me down I'm constantly feeling pain, and they're in knots. We're in knots in my arms. I feel them go out in and out of my hands and feet.
So what is that, like cramps?
No, it's like someone stabbing you from the inside.
Okay, we got another question here. How long have you been tortured?
Well, the first 2 years was spent being in amazement at everything I saw, including me and my daughter had a Bigfoot experience. An orange orb that was right there communicating with me. So many things that happened. So 5 years. They spent 2 years making me amazed and love them, paranormal all over. And the last 5 years, they've been torturing me. It's been rough and horrifying.
Got another question here. Is the voice always the same?
You know what? Here's what it does. I get picture thoughts in my head. That's the communication. And then they're so negative that I go through the day being nudged or stabbed, or they're in a knot and I push on them and I feel them leave in my arms. They mess with my head really bad in that way. And I've gone this 5 years wondering, what did I do to deserve this? You know? Or, hey, Mom, we're all going swimming. You want to go? I can't. I hurt really bad. Well, guess what? Today I don't hurt near as bad. I know it's them because they make me make sure they know. I mean, that I know it's them. And another thing, when the last time I went out to my car, this happened a couple months ago. I went out to my car to grab something, and that round craft was right over me. And that's when that draconian being came out into the light, looked both ways, spread its huge wings, and jetted away. Okay, I hyperventilated all the way back in my house. Just all the things that you think thought were, this is me, that weren't real because I was raised Baptist, demons and angels, hell and all that, which is not true, by the way. We all know that.
I agree on that.
Yeah, and it what it's done the most is mess with my mind, and they read your thoughts. What I've dealt with, oh, hi puppy. What I've dealt with is insane and rough and miserable, and like I said, thank God for my daughter. When I was, terrified, and I have been hysterical, I've had them in my room, dark beings that I never could see, like you're looking straight on, but I could see them move, and they come right next to me. And it's fear-based and pain-based. And if this happens to you or anybody you know, reach out. I say that over and over on the my site. Reach out for help, because it's real and it's very scary and miserable. It's been rough.
How long have you been experiencing this for, Shan?
The first 2 years I experienced paranormal, UFOs, orbs, these beings that look kind of like flying octopus in the air that came down real low. Figures in my home that look like shadow people, and things in my body. So it's been 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. Okay.
Yeah, it's aged me.
So the main form of communication is telepathic, right?
Yeah, telepathic and physical. The
Yeah, definitely physical.
Yeah, the physical is very real.
Yeah.
So, and there's different factions of good and bad, and the ETs that are here, and I think maybe the reptilians and draconians might be from inner Earth, because many people have reported, like in cave entrances, reptilian looking beings.
There's another question here. Does it get worse when you leave the house and come back home?
It's the worst when I'm in my room. That's where I have a video of the portal. It's torturous. You lay down and they bend my toes down. They nudge me. I'll try to sleep or meditate, and they mess with me really bad. They don't want me to rise, and I think I hate to say this, but I think it's going to become more and more unless the good guys come in. I don't know about any of that, but I know they're here, and I want to help anybody. Well, we all do. Anybody that's having issues with any negative form of ET.
Well, at least you got a line on that now between me and Cassidy's sister.
Yes. And I feel them in my body still, but I showed a video. There were millions of them.
Well, I agitated them. She got rid of quite a few, so we still got to work on it, but I think we will be successful.
I do too. And it's like I've been in prison for 5 years. They've controlled me to a point of misery.
You're about to be paroled.
That was
bless
great.
you, Shane. You're holding it together really well.
That was perfect.
You're made of iron, Shane.
What?
You're made of iron to cope with what you're coping with.
Yeah.
She's a survivor.
I am. And we know some other people that Daisy's a survivor, and there's a few more people that are dealing with horrible things that I do my best to help any way I can, like you guys. There's places to reach out, and this is one of them.
David Ash is with us. Hi, David.
Hi, David.
Yeah, hi, David.
I'm going to post this on the site too. I posted already that I was going to spill the beans.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know what you're going through, and it's like me. I've had experiences that, many that are watching now know about, and they're so bizarre that, the average person wouldn't believe it.
No, in
It's
the
hard
whole
for anybody it's hard for anybody that hasn't experienced anything like that to believe it, which is understandable.
Very.
But
I would have never believed me 7
Right.
years ago.
But the fact is that there are other people out there that have experienced the same phenomena. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's scary. I'm going to be truthful about this. Honestly, I'm getting videos from other people of this huge, I call it a fake moon. It's not the moon.
right.
And it's been right over me, and I saw that draconian being come out of it. I think those moon things that the military talked about them shooting down, I think those are ships. They look identical to
Well,
the
they have hologram technology today that you can see anything in the sky. They can show you anything, and it looks real. I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Yeah,
So I mean, another possibility with all this is it could be government, military related.
I've
Because
thought that too.
they have the technology to do just that. So either way, we're going to help you with that, whether it's actually extraterrestrial or a man-made, caper that they're doing. But I mean, either way,
I've thought of that too.
Yeah.
I've wondered, is this us doing this?
Right.
And one of the things I also saw was 3 huge black, this is a few years ago. This is 10 years ago. 3 black military helicopters. And I was driving taxi at the time, and I had my son.
I've experienced those myself up in Massachusetts.
Well, they flashed a saucer, a little saucer, just a flash. So I knew. It's like they show you.
Yeah, they've got the technology. Yeah.
That's why I think maybe that had to do with the implant. There's so many things that go around about.
And Donnie Lothridge, he can attest to that because he's been connected with a halo by the government for years now.
Yeah, me and him talked about that yesterday. It's been very rough for him too. And they told him basically they can't do anything to help him.
Right.
That's horrifying.
Well, see, like in your case, or anybody's case, really, you got to have to want the help.
I've been asking for years for help, and I've told everybody, including 3 hypnotherapists, that tell me you have some kind of a block.
Yeah.
Well,
See, now Donnie, he's kind of skeptic with that. So, I mean, if he doesn't want to accept it fully and make a solid decision that, hey, I want to break away from this, there's no way that anybody can really help him.
That's
in other words, he's going to want to help himself.
That's very true. This has taught me things. It's taught me to be very, very strong. I'm very strong-willed now. It's taught me that I stand up for myself. It's taught me to care about myself. It's taught me to be brave in the face of things that are absolutely terrifying. It's been a long 5 years.
Well, it'll get better, Shan. I mean, there's a lot of things coming down the pike that's going to be actually scary. I mean, everything's going to come to a head sooner or later. you know.
After all this, the thought of what's really going on is scary, but I have faith. I'm never losing.
You know what we got to be aware of is what the powers that be are planning is a false flag alien invasion. Okay.
I agree.
Again, going back to that hologram technology, you know, people will be seeing what they believe are actual alien craft in the sky firing weapons, when in reality the weaponry itself will be being fired by the military industrial complex.
Yeah. I really wonder about that because I think of myself in the pitch dark with the ships over me in that field and all the UFOs I've seen.
Yeah, you know, my guess is that's hologram, and they're messing with you like they do with Donnie, and
I got him on
that's
video.
that's just a precursor of what's to come, is my opinion.
I don't know, Jim, but I know
That's
that
what's to come. That's what's to come on a massive scale. See, and that's to put fear into everybody, and if and when they ever pull that off, you know, they'll be able to go ahead. They'll be able to go ahead with their agenda to form their one world governmental body with little or no resistance from the masses, and that's their objective.
I do believe that I'm dealing with reptilians. I don't think that the government's capable of doing what I've been through for the last 5 years.
Well, see, like one Facebook user is saying here, mind control. You'd be surprised what they can do.
Yeah, psychological, parapsychological warfare is on the increase.
You know, I got on this site, this governmental site, and it talks about alien nanotechnology.
Right. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah. And my biggest wonder is this really draconians taking over the earth, and are they involved in our government? And I've been told they want Earth back, and whatever it is, hates humans because they went in places on my body that you wouldn't believe and bite or stab, whatever they're doing. And when I tell you it's been rough, I have been through a living hell for 5 years. And so I have a hard time believing that could be our government. Are they really that advanced? I think I was shown holograms, but what about when I was right under their ships? Can they really make a moon? I call it the fake moon.
They can. I mean, you could go to a concert and see Michael Jackson on stage, like he's actually there. That's how advanced their hologram technology is.
It's scary, very scary. I always wonder if that evil to that extent is really the sociopaths that
you see, they've always been in control for hundreds of years, you know.
Thousands, I believe.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you know, since the Illuminati, I think they came around in 1776, I believe, was the start of that.
Well, I've done so much research trying to figure this out and learned a lot, and it actually stems from the Anunnaki. And I'm going to tell you something else insane. I've been told over and over that the Anunnaki were O negative blood. Now, we were talking yesterday, and I asked.
I'm O negative, you're O negative.
And
Don Lothridge is
yeah,
O negative.
Yeah, everybody looked at me and they're like, "Yep, we're O negative." And
Bradley's just plain negative, right, bro?
Yeah.
He doesn't.
You know, in this country, Jim, people don't know their blood type. Not in the UK.
Why is that?
It's just something you don't do. You don't know. Yet in Germany or Europe, they do know their blood type. You know.
Oh, why don't they in England? I mean, if something happens, somebody's going to know your blood type, so you don't get the wrong type of blood with a transfusion and go into septic shock.
Well, I've heard that O negative people are somehow related to the Anunnaki line. And I've heard that that line is Queen Elizabeth, and they were part draconian, or
Okay, we,
were.
yeah, we got a Facebook user. I think this is Donnie Lothridge. He says they cut out my teeth with it, even with the gums. They cut his teeth even with his gums, right? Sexual assaults and everything she is describing. So I would say that if he knows that he's hooked to a halo due to the government, that's probably the same technology that they're using on you.
Right now, as you're talking, they shake like a dog that shakes.
Right.
They'll shake a part of my body.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, because they know what's going on. I mean, they're not stupid, you know.
no, whatever it is, I'm telling you, they hate us with a passion. With
Well,
a passion.
you know, the thing is, you know, when we're born, we're not born free, right? We're born slaves to society. Okay.
Yeah.
When we're born, society grooms us right from the get-go, right from birth.
Yeah. First Social Security
They
card.
bend us, shape us any way they want to. They want us to conform to their way of doing things. You know, they want to groom us into what they want us to become. Okay, so
Yeah.
when we're born, we're issued a birth certificate, right? And then a
Social Security.
social security number, which is an ID number. And they don't only indoctrinate you, but they keep track of you from birth to death.
Well, I was going to say this. Did you know that O negative people are tracked? O negative people are tracked by the government, and you can look that up. And I've been told that.
Well, I mean, all blood types are tracked by the government because that enhances their form of control. And what's happening today is where we have 8 billion people in the world, we have 1% that are controlling everything. So 1% of 800 billion would be 800 million, right? So now you got 800 million controlling everything, and you've got 7.2 billion, which are the masses. So, and more people nowadays are starting to wake up and realize what's going on. They're starting to see the writing on the wall. So what's happening is they got to come to a decision. That's the main reason why they want to eliminate 95% of the world population, because they know that if enough of the 7.2 billion awaken, right, they're not going to be in control anymore.
Yeah. So spread the news. I spread the news.
Well, yeah, I know, but you know, it's hard because, you know, the power truly lies with the masses, okay? All right. And the problem with that is we don't stick together as a collective.
I agree.
And, you know, and all this stuff sounds so bizarre that the majority of the masses probably wouldn't even believe you anyway.
Yeah, that's what they want. They want that blind.
Well, yeah, they know that, and that's why they keep getting away with it.
Yeah, it's horrible.
But whereas they're realizing that more and more people are starting to awaken, that's why they got that agenda there to eliminate 95% of the world population. See?
Yeah, I agree. It's a scary thought, and I say enjoy your life the best you can.
One day at a time. You know, that's all you can do. One day at a time.
Cherish your loved ones. Cherish Mother Earth, which they now know. Well, I've been told she's a living being, and that makes sense. And that cherish the beauty, the nature on the earth. And that's what I have to do every day. And even if I don't sleep night after night,
Facebook users.
pretty big here.
Yeah, Facebook here says user says O negative is very important to hospitals. Blood banks will pay us $500 to donate O negative blood. Other people can get $20 for blood. You know why? Because O negative, they can use it on any type of blood.
Yeah, it's universal.
Universal, yeah.
And I've got 4 kids, and 2 of them are O negative. And get this, those 2 have had paranormal experiences. My mom and dad were both O negative. I had to
Well,
have
maybe we're just naturally more connected to the universe, where the blood itself is universal. If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Yes, that could be. I think O negative people are focused on now. I mean, it's becoming really obvious because everybody that I talk to personally on my site, we'll be talking and that comes up. And almost all the people that are experiencing paranormal things are O negative. And that in itself kind of scares me. It's like, why? Why? I want answers. And that's the hardest part too, is the big why. Why do this? In a way, like I said, when I try to meditate, and by the way, meditation's very important. When you know you focus on your inner soul, your real self, and you clear your mind and you try to keep it clear. And you ask questions in your mind and then clear your mind. Now, that's
Well,
what
the thing with that is, everybody is looking for the truth out there somewhere, where in reality, that's right. In reality, the truth is deep within.
It drives me nuts too, because I know the Bible's important, but people have to do research and realize that tons of it was poured out, that tons of it was changed.
Yes.
And the biggest change is where it says there's a God. It was changed to God's. I mean, from God's to God.
Yeah. Yeah. So will the real God please stand up?
Well, to me, the real God is a source. I've been told that
the point is there's 63 books of the Bible that have never been read, that they keep suppressed. And so my guess would be that's where the truth lies.
Yeah, and in the vaults of the Catholic Church, I believe. They have the biggest telescope in the world.
Yeah.
And another thing that really bothers me, and I'm not pointing fingers at Catholic people, but back in thousands of years ago, they went around the world and they killed anybody that didn't bow down to their God. So they have millions of deaths on their hands. And you can research this. I ask that you guys do. Anyway, Jesus Christ was more a Gnostic. And supposedly he didn't die on the cross. There were a couple Jesuses, and they used the fake one as an example. The real Jesus, and there's documentation, went up to the Tibetan people and studied. And then he went to where the big pyramid, Egypt. And they have records that have been secretly pulled up. And it describes this like on Gaia, which I love Gaia. I think they're amazing people. And I dug deep. I dug really deep and researched all this. And ascension doesn't mean, it was done for guilt. And they told us that God was separate from us. That's bull.
Right.
God is in us. We're a part of God.
Right. God is everything.
Yeah. So the fact that they limited God to some old man with a beard, or, with the thoughts that they put in our head in religions, is bullshit. It's even more beautiful than they told us. We're divine beings.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. So if you are wondering in your mind about all this and your mind's being blown away by it, research it. Research Gnostics. Research Essenes. And these are people that were around when the real Jesus was here. And
agnostics are open-minded to the concept of all things. You'll find.
Facebook users asking, have you ever seen Dolores Cannon's Jesus info from the
I
research agency did on hypnosis?
I'm gonna order her book, this 3 Stages, I think it's called, and I adored her. She's here. I adore her. Yes, that's a great person to listen to. And I'll give you a couple names. Matthew LaCroix with an X, a C and then an X in it. He has went and studied the ancient cuneiform tablets. Jesus was written about on the Egyptian wall. He might have been Thoth. A lot of people think he was Thoth. So parts of the Bible are way, way back before they brought their God out into the Bible, which was a mean. There were parts where he was just cruel.
Well, the thing is that's the thing. There is no separation between good and evil. It's all one. You can't separate it. You can't have one without the other.
Well,
it's one energy. It's one energy with opposite polarities. Okay.
I've heard that too, Jim, and that makes sense.
There's a difference, but there's no separation.
Yeah, and I've heard that you have to learn how to level them out, and accept.
Jenny Zydek says Dolores Cannon books are so good.
I'm gonna read them. That's funny you asked that because I just watched a video with her on YouTube, and I'm ordering that book. That book. If you guys have ever heard of the Law of One,
the what?
The law,
the law of one.
Yeah,
I've heard of it. Yeah, but I'm not too familiar with it.
Well, David Wilcox. If you guys know who he is,
I know who he is. Yep.
Okay, he teaches that.
Now he's on Gaia a lot too, isn't he?
Yes, and Dolores Cannon talks about that too. That was 3 people that were together, very normal, awesome people that got channeled information way back in the early 80s. And if you listen to that, which is on YouTube, I think it's darn near close to the truth. And it resonates with everything we're talking about. God is not some man with a beard that punishes.
Right, exactly. What God is an energy that makes all things possible, right? The extent of a God is the energy that moves you, your consciousness, and your biological structure. That's the 3 combinations that you need to experience existence.
I agree.
And Jenny says specifically the Jesus stuff because it covers where he was missing in the Bible.
Yeah, that's so true. Jesus was a beautiful, beautiful person that I was told, when the aliens, and they can create, if you learn about the Anunnaki, they changed our DNA.
Right. I believe we're part of that. They were involved in our creation.
Well, I've heard from channeled, and you can't believe everything you hear. You have to use your, what's that word? Intuition.
Right.
To decipher for yourself. And when tons of people are saying the same thing, or even a few on odd things that not very many people know about, in my mind, all this has started to make sense finally. If you go back and studying the Gnostics and the Essenes, that's when Jesus was really here. And beyond beautiful. And ETs assisted him. They're the ones that seated us here.
I'd like to say, yeah, go on.
Well, I just wanted to say, it just came out. They found something in the earth. I can't remember. It was on YouTube. I'll find it. Over 300 million years old. A man-made item. Well, the earth isn't that old. So now scientists are like, wow.
How old was the item?
like 300 million or billion.
Yeah.
Well, well, the Earth's been around the galaxy and the solar system and universe been here for 4.3 billion that they know of.
Well,
Well,
they made a big deal out of the Earth not being as old as Decidum. And I'll find it. I'll post it on the site.
thank you. Yeah.
It's
Thank
not
you.
what they told us, guys. It's nothing like we were taught. We were taught and conformed, and our thoughts made to follow what they taught us.
Right.
And none of it is true.
That's right, Shan, and I agree with you. You're an activist as well,
Well,
which is
that's all a part of the brainwashing.
Yeah,
we're coming
I
to
love you
the
guys
end
too.
of the hour now. And I'd like to say what I've noticed about you, Shan, is you're much calmer than what you normally are. You're not so erratic and confused. You're very focused, and that's a very
Yes.
good thing.
Lately, I've been being told you handle this like a pro. So once again, I'm going to look at the positive side. I have learned to face things in a different way. I've learned to cherish life more. So I thank him. You know what?
Oh,
Thank you guys.
one thing is that help is there.
Yeah.
We've experienced
And
that.
I thank God for you guys. I do.
We've got 60
Everybody.
seconds left, Shane. So, like, thank you for sharing everything in a composed manner, easy for everyone to understand. Oh, your words are binding. You're not delusional, in my opinion. Like, your thoughts are genuine. Thank you, Jim Andre, for co-hosting the show as well with me.
Oh, no problem.
And
Thank you guys. Thank you very much.
it's been a pleasure to have you near us, Shane. Really, has. Thank
That's
you.
our mission. That's what we're here for.
Thanks for
Yeah.
having me on the show again.
Oh, we'll have you back on again.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us and telling us about your experience.
Yeah.
And thank you for all everyone who's contributed in the group forum, in the chat forum. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, we're at the top of the hour. We're gonna have to end the show, and we'll see you all on the next one.
Okay. Bye, everybody.